Hey members, man, yesterday I was absolutely man down, totally sick, couldn't do a forecast. Thankfully back and ready to go. So let's jump into today's Bitcoin market movements. All right, so starting off with the 2048, the dominant trend direction. Although the price has been moving upwards on the lower time frames, I think it's because we have some internal movement inside the 2048 setup over here. It's looking to potentially regain position for its continuation to where it would like to land up next. My point being is that even though price is moving up, keep your position sizes responsible and keep them aiming for closer targets. The longer targets, if you're leaving your positions open over a longer period of time, wouldn't necessarily be most recommended under these current conditions. So let's move down to the 512. Here is what I'm talking about when price is moving up. We can see that it's in the kill zone over here. So see how the screen grays out like that, and it also grays out the kill zone. That's typically because my traders don't get encouraged or aren't allowed to open up a trade inside the kill zone, as there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. Now that it's starting to break out of it, we should once again see a little bit of up action, and then after that we'll keep an eye open to see if it continues down. The 128 should tell a similar story, and there it is. The question here would be, are we turning around, or will there be some movement up to a further position? From first glance, it looks as if we could be going down, so let's have a closer look into that. Just a note over here, for anyone who is dead serious about turning trading into a career, I would like you to immediately, right now, destroy any fantasy thinking around trading. Too many traders are obsessed with the outcome, and that attachment to outcome is blinding their decisions in the now moment. When you take a loss, you feel as if it's chipping away from your fantasy, or when price is moving too slowly, etc., etc. You are making bad decisions because you're chasing a fantasy instead of doing the trading disciplines the way in which it should be done, okay? So destroy your emotions towards the fantasy behind trading and move that obsession away from the fantasy and shift it towards the obsession towards the process. This is not a maybe, this is a must for pro traders and guys who want to succeed in this space. Find obsession in the process and everything else will fall into place. Probably more than what you fantasized in the beginning anyway. The process is what's going to get you the results you're after. This is advice I'm offering you, which others would charge thousands of dollars to teach you. So just take this from where it comes. I want your best interest to be realized, and this is a massive component to your trade success. Okay, so moving on to the 128. What I'm seeing over here is this is the middle of the cycle, which means that we've got a potential turn to the downside. However, it's not confirmed as yet. So I'm going to there. I'm going to go through to the process. Just to remind you, this is what I do all the time. My results, how I forecast price ahead of time, the pinpoint accuracy, knowing when to trade, knowing when not to trade, all of that stuff, that power exists because I follow a set process each day. And here's my process. Trend direction, we can see from above that it's going to be going up for a little bit, but overall going down. So I'm looking here for a smaller move and then a higher high, potentially above 3. Then after that, we'll keep an eye open on the downward progression to follow. Turning point spacing, as I made mention to, here's the middle of the cycle. We're looking for a 5, which means I don't see price breaking through this higher high for the time being, and I'm happy with what I see. From a scaling perspective, I'm going to bring out my resonance ring, look for confluence. That's looking good, all good. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger to explore other options. That's looking good as well. I can make a micro adjustment over here. Just adjusting on my time bar. Things are looking good. I'm going to leave it up to allow it some space to move. However, I'm not holding my breath and watching price go up and make a higher high. Okay, so that's just something I want you to keep in mind. Kill zone we've broken out of. It was a decent formation over there, nothing too energetic, which means that there should be a steady climb after it has potentially chosen this route of the 1/2. Time. All right, so I'm going to go to my vertical lines here. I'm going to put it on 100. I suppose leave it on 100. Cube root, leave that on 1 over there. So this becomes my realm of possibility. So once again, guys, as you're moving through, I do this in my imagination, in my mind. But for those who are learning the process, it's highly recommended that you use your non-probability box just to take away what isn't going to happen. Okay, so anything above 3 is not going to happen. It's not going to see a higher high over there. And then, I mean, this is definitely not going to happen. So let's start moving it in. So I don't see price getting much further than the 100%. Just by that alone. Can you see how much difference that now looks to how it was a few seconds ago? This is a lot more manageable for your decision making than all of that extra space. My recommendation is to do that for every serious transition so that you can get clarity on what the market is actually telling you whilst you follow the process. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to bring this forward as I don't see it turning before then. And now we're looking at this as a realm of possibility or probability for price to turn. I'm going to bring this down some more, this as well, and just kind of make this the possibility of where it can turn. Most guys on the planet don't even have this luck. All right, so just narrowing it down to that range is more than what most will have access to. Super powerful stuff. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to overanalyze this one because I don't trade on the 128. This is just supplementary information that I use when making trade decisions on the day trading charts. Oscillator, open and up. Price projection. For price projection, I go to the fan lines and I use the protractor, then see if it lines up well with anything that could potentially happen. That looks good to me. I'm going to bring it back to, there we go. Yeah, so something to that effect is what I'm seeing. Bring down the scaling a bit. This is just higher thinking, so don't get intimidated by it. Everything is learnable because I teach it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that potential outcome. So it's about 21,000 in about a day. So I'm going to leave a marker over there. Okay, so thank you very much for that. And then support and resistance, of course, is right there on the 1/2 arc 3. All right, going down to 32 and we can finish up real quick. This could either be a late 1 or alternatively, one could be here, a shallow 2 formed, and now we're looking for a 3. So I'm going to have a look at this as an option. And once again, I follow the process. Trend direction, we've said that it's mostly up right now. Okay, you can tell by 1 being above 9 and price already above 1. Turning point spacing is what I'm not sure about at the moment. It's got a decent kill zone. I'm happy with the scaling. Let me just bring out the resonance rings, make a micro adjustment to make everything line up. Okay, pretty good. Whilst I do that, I want to quickly have a look at the other resonance ring setup, just in case there's something that's of higher confluence over here. Okay, that looks good as well. Okay, the way in which it feeds this nodal point, see it's quite wide on the outside and then gets a little tighter there, and this gets less and less spacious as it gets to that point over there. Makes me feel as that this is the true turning point, and I'm going to go with that for the rest of this analysis. Much more than that I don't really need to do right now. I know that it's going to go down. Where it turns doesn't matter because it would be a counter trend move. As you can tell, those 2 arrows are pointing up, and I don't want to mess with unnecessary loss of capital by going counter trend. So always trade and trend, one of the trade rules. Thanks for sticking it out until this point. I haven't necessarily been on the chart, so it was a more of a lengthy setup and also explanation about how to become a successful trader. Process over outcome. And that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow.